Hello, and welcome back to the TMG Fireside Chat. I'm your host, John Mackey. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Mackey Group. Today, we're diving deep into the future of fire protection. I'm joined by a longtime friend, industry leader and innovator, and fellow podcast host, Drew Slocum, Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder of InspectPoint. In this series, Drew and I tackle the real issues shaping our industry: mergers and acquisitions, technology, the innovation gap among manufacturers, workforce challenges, and how AI is already changing the way we work. We've broken down our conversations into short, focused episodes so you can catch the insights that matter most and put them to work. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy the conversation. So let's jump right into it. All right, shifting gears. So by the time this airs, because we do have a very busy production schedule with our podcast, and so we got to drop this in the right spot.
Right.
You are right now preparing for a presentation at the Fire Suppression Systems Association later this week.
Yep.
And the topics around AI. You want to give us a little bit share a little bit of information about how you're preparing for the presentation. And then ultimately, because by the time this airs, you will have presented it. So what do you want the audience to take home from your presentation as it relates to AI? Because we could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, we could. And it's quicker than you'd think. We could talk about it for hours, but it's there's some main topics. I came up with it. I think Seth Hill from Ryan. I think he's from Ryan Fire. Yeah, he's
Yep.
one of our users
Yep.
as well. But he's
Okay.
big at the FSSA. He reached out and had I was like, nobody's really talking about AI, and I just threw the topic. I didn't say I was going to present on it, but then I was like, well, who else would present? Who else would present on it? Like, who knows a lot about data and what's happening with that? So it's funny because um, it's literally every week or every other week, there's AI tools that are being presented to me or I'm discovering them. And it's just like, this is mind-boggling. It's how fast it's come along. And, it's there to enhance. There's a gap with labor right now. There's also, the thing is labor, AI is probably not going to solve the labor gap, at least for the technician side, but
Mhm.
it could do that on the fire service side as well as like the company side, right? By but with AI, it's a big buzzword too.
Yep.
So you kind of need to start looking at it in any size company, because it will transform your business, even at the owner operator level, all the way up through the OEMs and the big, very, very big companies, because there are just daily tools, and AI goes far back as like spell check. Spell check is AI. That's what 30, 40 years ago
Yep.
spell check came around. So it's not like it's a new thing. It's just obviously the data processing and some of that's getting pretty intense right now. So um yeah, in the presentation I hit on, just the key concepts like machine learning, um, and then kind of like the more advanced things like deeper learning. Deep
Yep.
learning's more like self-driving cars and things like that, where it's taking multiple layers of data and kind of putting that all together. And there's some fire opportunities there, even on the deep learning side, right? There's some technology now on, with regards to cameras,
Yep.
right? Cameras on the security side, even on the fire detection side. There's already some AI that's been around for a few years now, and it's tremendously helps the security side, especially because
Yep.
there's cameras everywhere. So they could do facial recognition, which is more of like a deep learning tool, but it's, I mean, you can't get away with anything in any of these big cities anymore. So, and all that's, due to AI. So, there's some stuff on the tech side, but I think there's benefit right away on kind of the digital workflow side of things.
Yep.
I mean, you're recording this podcast. You told me before you're chugging this into an AI engine and it's spitting out the correct items. And it's kind of wild in like a year or so, everybody's using these AI tools on these Zoom calls now because
Yeah,
it literally transcribes everything for you and puts notes together.
I probably, well, so I, Otter is going to be the one I use to kind of like you said, chop it up, right? All these episodes, one, two, I use probably three or four of them on a daily basis. Hey, I need something to kind of review a contract. Upload it to Claude
Yep.
AI. There you
Yep.
go. 3 minutes,
Yep.
done,
Yep.
right? And or trying to research a new topic about the evolution of AI and how big is AI infrastructure market as the data center market shifts from a fire
Yep.
protection perspective and what's next.
Yep.
An earlier podcast um, and a presentation we had at the NAFED Executive Retreat last November, Zach Nelson, former VP of HR, or excuse me, VP of Marketing for Ore Protection, is now the president of Elk River Marketing. And Zach, as he's building his business, is talking about the power of AI in marketing, and
Oh, it's
how
crazy.
all these AI platforms are blowing away or beyond what Google used to do 5 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Keyword searches, and so
Yep.
people go into AI tools now to find, where are the top three restaurants to take, your wife or girlfriend to on Valentine's Day nearby.
Yep.
Here they
Yep.
are.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, here's a phone number to call to make or here's the reservation app to click to make the reservation
No,
there.
they do it for you. The AI tool makes the reservation for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he talked about just the power that AI has in changing how we run marketing aspects of the industry, right? So
Hmm.
think of that from the back office and how we just process
Hmm.
information, right?
Yep.
And I think to your point, it's going to have an impact on the broader fire protection industry workforce. It's not going to take away technicians. We need them. It's not going to take away the need to get an inspection done physically with somebody on site.
Hmm.
But AI is going to give you some tools on how to get the job done. It might help you with routing. It might help you with inventory. It might help you with paperwork that you used to do before,
Yep.
right? Might get a little bit more scriptive with regard to how many pictures you take in the inspection and
Yep.
what type of notes you leave. You're not typing them anymore. Now it's talk to text,
Yeah. Yep.
right? But it makes the work faster.
Yep.
And I think that's advantageous because we don't have enough technicians to do the work we have.
Right.
So we've got to find ways to speed it up. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. We're rolling out some tools at Inspect Point that are
yep,
AI and it's actually pretty cool.
yep,
And they're I don't want to say they're not super advanced. I have some crazy ideas out there that it's just like, is the market ready for it yet? Right.
right.
So if the market's got to be ready for it. We're not just going to create something, ahead of that. So
Well, didn't
um
Steve Jobs hold off on releasing the iPhone before he came out with the iPod first? Because he said we
just to
release the
see.
phone, people aren't going to know what to do with it, and yet so the iPod came out and the shuffle and all the yeah. There
Yeah.
was just that he held the phone back. It was ready to go, and he said the consumer is not ready for it.
Yeah. It's funny that, learned about a new on the fire code side. So AI is really good at a lot of taking a lot of data and kind of you have to teach it, right? You have to teach it what to look for and all that. But, you know, companies like Upcodes and Code Comply, and there's a new one I learned of Ichi yesterday that are essentially taking building and fire code and putting it into an AI engine
Yep.
to give an easy user experience for fire officials, architects, engineers. It hasn't gotten down to eventually it'll get to contractors, but the code's tough and it's changing all the time and it takes forever. You're in different code cycles. So it's a complex and a lot of that knowledge base is leaving the industry, right? As they retire. So I think the the AI code tools are going to be, they're already here, right?
Yep.
We're already using them now. Um, it's just how can we get that in our hands of our frontline technicians faster, right?
Yep.
So,
It's about tools. It's about driving compliance. It's about solidifying the foundational aspects of the industry. And I think that, my message around AI is grasp it, lean into it, and learn it.
Yeah.
Because if you're afraid, then that train's going to fly by you at 100 miles an hour. Like you said earlier,
Yeah.
there is a new platform coming out every other week, right?
Yep.
Remember a
Yep.
month ago, DeepSeek was the next best one. And then
Yep.
last week, something else came out. Can't remember what that
Yeah.
was, right? But it's like, oh no, that was Twitter's uh, GAC or GAC or Grok,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so you have all these new platforms coming. So this is a quiet week. Next week, we'll see who's the next one. But that's how fast it's moving. It's cycling through. It's like, okay,
But
pretty soon.
right off the bat, there's like daily work things that workload things, right? Where I think there's AI apps to like help you be more optimized in your daily efficiency, so you're not on your phone all the time. So there's there it's not just in fire protection; it's kind of like daily life
I
as
read a
well.
statistic that said that, the US population, and no quote, what's the US population? 400 million people ish?
Um, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. I think that there are more AI bots or AI agents out there now than there are people in the United States. That's the statistic I heard.
That's wild.
But to your point, there's a bot for an agent for everything. I mean,
Yeah,
I use an AI agent to filter my emails.
yeah,
What's a marketing thing? What's one I've got to take action on? What's one I have to respond to immediately because it's a question that I have to answer. Right.
yeah,
And so throughout the day, my emails are getting sorted based on that AI agent telling me how it's going to sort.
yeah.
So if someone asks me for a meeting slot if they don't use my Calendly, right? They'll tell me, hey, based on your calendar, this is where you can meet with these people.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
already baked into all the tools. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be interesting over the next 5 years to see, how it adopts or how it's not gonna. Yeah, there's certain jobs it will like eliminate, but I think it's here to enhance, right?
Yeah.
At least for now, and then until the robots learn how to inspect a building.
That'll never happen. I mean, I think that, it's
No,
great technology, but it still does not take the role of the human away.
no,
Sorry.
no,
Can't.
no,
All
no.
right. So, all right. Well, now that it's, probably a week or two or three after you gave this presentation, hopefully you delivered on all the things that you said you would after your during your AI presentation at FSSA. So in
Yeah,
advance of
well,
this, I wish you all the best. I'll be in
yeah,
town. I won't be there Saturday. I'll be leaving, but uh,
yeah. We'll see how it hits.
yeah,
Again, it's more to pose questions and try to think outside of the box and just be receptive to this. I think most people already are, right? They're using
yep,
AI. They get it with their browser, their internet browser right now, right?
yep.
So,
Gemini or Copilot or whatever, right?
yep, yep.
So, well, very cool.
That's a wrap for this episode of the TMG Fireside Chat. I hope you're walking away with new ideas, new perspectives, and a little more fire to help drive the future of our industry forward. Be sure to check out the rest of the series with Drew Slocum, and if you like what you heard, make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share the TMG Fireside Chat with others who are also as passionate about fire protection and life safety as we are. Until next time, keep pushing, keep leading, and keep building this great industry. See you soon.